All right, say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity. We just pray that whatever we do, we just glorify your name and let people hear the things that they need to hear that's going to bring them closer to you, Father. No matter where this takes us, we just pray that we learn and grow and we continue to tighten our bond with one another and with you, Father. That's all we ask. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So Bailey had a really good idea for a title, and I think it's fantastic, especially what we're trying to do with this, and that is, promote what we do as entrepreneurs and get into, in consulting and stuff like that, since we're already getting opportunities to do that. So what better title than, are you sure you want to own a bar? I mean, that's a pretty good question. I think a lot of people in their 20s want to own bars, but they just really don't know what it takes to, what that takes and everything that it entails and the life that you live while you do it, especially while building the bars. So, I just think today we can just talk about our experiences and some of the questions that I know that y'all have had, because I know a lot of people reach out to you guys specifically and ask, like, how did you get into this? Can I do this? What do I need to do? And sometimes they don't like the answer at all. I would say 9 out of 10 times they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think, other than JK, any meeting that I've had with anybody, nobody else has actually opened a bar, but JK did. Yeah, which is still
Go Lotties.
very successful. Go Lotties.
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you guys would be, moving from bartenders and into the ownership, I think we could lead with kind of what a life change that is, because I don't think anybody's going to be watching us wondering what it's like to be a bartender. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess for Jawan is still kind of, he enjoys bartending, so he still does that a few days a week because he likes to interact with the customers and people that have become his friends, because he's passionate about football season. So he bartends through football season. And Bailey has just recently stepped out of behind the bar within the last, man, I guess, how long?
I guess it's been like 7 months.
Yeah, it's been a while. And KP has stepped behind the bar to learn how to make drinks, Jacks and Cokes and Crown and Cokes and things.
I make a mean fireball.
Yeah. So, Juwan, I guess I'll start with you. I know you've had people reach out to you and ask you, like, how you got your start and what it was like making that transition, even though you're still choosing to be in it. But what are some of the questions that you get mainly, you think?
Oh man, I guess it's like one of those big things. Is like, what made you know, like, I guess that you were happy doing it, making that transition. Man, it's one of those. Like I said, since I was younger, I kind of wanted to own my own pool hall or bar, whichever. You kind of gave me the opportunity. Thank you again. I can't say it enough, but well, I guess the biggest thing they see is like, man, I see you traveling, I see you doing all these things. Like, well, guys, what you don't see during the week is we're sitting in front of a laptop, or that's a massive change for me, or just like dealing with like everything in a way that's just, I guess, what they don't see, like the toast back end of things, the inventory, the making sure the kids aren't acting up. When I say kids, I do mean the employees.
Yes.
It sounds so bad, but really when you think about it, it's like, I am a father of 2 little girls, but it's just like, once you have all these people under you, you're just like, man, I have 20 kids now.
Yep.
It's like, and it's just like, now it's my job to make sure that they all make money and take care of their families. Well, but granted, it's a team, it's all of us, but I guess like in a way, separate.
It's a big pressure. A lot of pressure on your shoulders,
'Cause like, so having it's, I guess a lot of the questions I do get, like you said, my bad, I kind of went off a little bit there, was what made you know, like, what are the ins and outs, like what do I need to do to start, like, I'm really good in this area, but I'm not good in that area. Well, to me, right there, you need a partner for that part. So like, hey, look, if I'm really good at the hospitality side, if you're good with the number side, let me stick to hospitality, you stick to numbers, and so that kind of
And I think we can all,
Amen.
I think we can all agree that's why we make such a really good team, because we all have our strong points for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I think that one thing for Jawan, we worked so closely that first year. I mean, he didn't know anything about Excel and
Yeah.
Microsoft Office and everything. And we would spend every week, we would sit in front of that computer and manually do the inventory. That was before we used like Toast, our POS system, to do it and everything. And him learning how to do the formulas and how to, it's a lot of work up front, but in the end, it makes it a lot easier. And just that's probably not something that he ever really thought of doing
You're right.
on the bar side of things. When you're bartending,
Yeah.
you're just making sure you have your recipes right and that you're hospitable and all that.
And that you're
not
ringing things in.
ringing things in, but not actually
Yeah.
thinking about when you're counting inventory that you need to take into account every single shot that includes that liquor or whatever it is.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that was a eye opener for all of us.
well, and I think that we have all, especially you guys, we've all learned how important it is to make sure that our numbers are where they need to be and that we're checking them because, I'll be the first to tell you, I was willy nilly, you know what I mean? Through mine, I just cared whether money was coming out and the bills were paid. That's all I really cared about. And then now that we, have expanded into different spots, losing money is a big deal. And so owning a bar is not obviously just about choosing whether or not, a lot of bartenders still bartend at their own bars, which, kudos to them. My ultimate goal for y'all, as I was very, very vocal is I wanted y'all out from behind the bar. I wanted y'all to have that life, but also have that responsibility to, know the back end and learn it. That way we can continue to build systems so we can build businesses correctly, instead of just having it willy-nilly. I think you guys have, to see, I mean, he's far more advanced on a computer than I am now, but it is really, really fun to see the transition that other people don't get to see because they just see y'all missing out from behind the bar, but they don't see you in the office. And now, and I heard it the other day, Jawan and I were at Rabbit Hole and somebody, or was it Bailey? You're never here.
Yeah. Do you
Never
even
here.
work?
Do you even work? And
Get that on a daily
Bailey
basis.
just looked at him and laughed, and it's like
I say,
every
"No, I
single
don't."
day, So they don't see Jawan and KP at all hours of the night on their computer, and so I think that what I really want to do, and for people to get out of this episode is to understand that it's not sitting at it. Owning a bar is not what people think it is. There's a lot to it. It's a very awesome business to be in, but there is a lot of ups, downs, and dark sides even. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody thinks there's just, they see good numbers. They see people, oh, you're walking out with a lot of money. Well, could have had more sales if somebody would have missed this ring in, or it's so much that goes into it. Like, kind of like Chris said, like he was all willy nilly, but I know I caught myself like, hold on, I forgot to ring something in. And so it does, those numbers add up real quick. A dollar turns into $10, $10 turns into $100. Then you look at the years like, man, where's that, $1,000 that we missed out on?
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah. And I don't think it's always that you really think that your staff is purposefully stealing from you.
no.
Just moving fast.
Sometimes it happens, of course, but yeah, moving fast, forgetting to ring stuff up, and like 3 beers this shift, 3 beers the next shift, 3 beers the night shift. It just adds up when it's every single day, and just really trying to stay on top of that.
And another thing that they don't think about is it's not just the fact that we've already paid for that alcohol. We're also missing the profit margin on it at that point as well. So we're missing, a few times every time something's not rang in or something's given away. And then, of course, that affects your bottom dollar. But, I always say sales cure all. But that, as I've grown, I kind of know that even though they do cure all, everything else needs to be super tight and in order. And so I think that that's what a lot of people don't understand is the back end of it, that like you guys were describing. So, I think also one of the big key points to being a bar owner is that I've learned is you have to be your own person, because a lot of bar owners are a lot the same. If you kind of look at them, especially the young ones, when the young people get into it, they're pretty routine. They're usually behind the bar working. but they're usually up there drinking, you know, and they might have the biggest tab in the bar. I've been guilty. And again, you think about it because you have fun. You get in there, and I mean, y'all remember everybody wants
Yep.
to come in. Everybody wants to see you. Everybody wants to hang out with you, and then you end up, oh, let's get around, let's get around, let's get around. And again, whereas I'm not going to pay for it because I've already paid for it once. So yes, I'll pay at cost. But again, I think what I would like to show is that there's actually a more responsible way to own a bar. And I think you guys are really great examples of that. So I think real quick we can dive into maybe the downsides that y'all feel, maybe personally, and also mentally. I know there's a lot of mental. Even you're married, you're engaged. And I remember when I first opened Mad Hatter, Glenn from Pogues, I was with Mandy at that time, and he asked, "You ready to open a bar?" Absolutely. Is your marriage? It didn't last a year. So it can be tough. I mean, how does that, being a married woman and y'all having two totally different career paths?
Yeah. I think the good news for me is Nick is so supportive, and he knows, he believes in us. And so he, at the beginning was all about it and really kind of feels how we feel, like it's going to be successful. Whatever y'all do, he felt would be successful. So there are times where it's, it takes up part of a weekend because we might have a big St. Patrick's Day party or the vendor fair and things like that. And, he's kind of, what is it that you always say that he like our assistants that, our spouses or our partners like end up being kind of employed by us, but volunteering,
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that maybe some of the harder times are, if I'm stressed.
Yeah.
And there are stressful situations. It can go anywhere from, you've become close with a regular and maybe they've become alcoholics. Maybe their health is starting to deteriorate, which I know y'all see that a lot more than even I do. But, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And when you see somebody that you have gotten to know and you know their life and you know their family and everything, and they're taking a turn for the worse, it's hard not to take that home.
Yeah.
And with a 6-year-old, it's hard for you to really hide that from them. But that's not something that I want to sit and explain to Riley about. She's just not ready for that. So I would say that's some of the tough times, the stress.
I can feed off of that. Me and Chris, we started out working as bartenders. I mean, he knows the bar world, and so it was never a stress on our relationship or anything like that because we're both so aware of the bar world and the hours that you have to put in and the inconsistent hours too. I mean, you just never know when you have to be there. So, like Nick, Chris is extremely supportive on this. So, I mean, yes, I mean, just like every couple, we're going to have our fights and, be frustrated and have our frustrations at an all-time high. But at the end of the day, we know where we stand with each other, and we're going to support each other and be there for each other to build each other further and to push each other to be better. So I'm very grateful with who I have. I'm very, very grateful to have somebody so understanding, and it's never... And I know some days he does feel like work is first, and I am working on that. I'm a very work-driven person. I will drop anything to work because this is what's going to provide my life. And so I'm still organizing my personal life, but he's been great for that.
He's a good man.
He is a very good man.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
I think
Nick is as well, of course.
Yeah, they're great. They're
The
great.
best,
I think the work-life balance is definitely a hard part, but there's some things that we can work on, and then there's some things that we can't.
Yeah.
For instance, the walk-in goes out on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. You can't really wait on that. It's not like you're like, oh, we can wait till Monday. It's our weekend.
Nope.
That's not how it works. Toilet issues, anything like that. I mean, you may have bar managers that can help with that. Are they even there that night? Do they even know the right plumbers to call, et cetera?
Right.
So it's, our phones are on emergency bypass, and our staff knows that so that they can get a hold of us. But that means that you might be getting a call at 4 a.m. because the money's not adding up correctly, at 4 a.m. because somebody's on the patio and shouldn't be there, or anything.
Clothes on or off.
Yeah, exactly. They may or may not have clothes on, for sure.
Yeah.
The stuff we see is wild, for sure. But so it is like really trying, and that's something that I really had to work on from the beginning, is that work-life balance, and knowing that, a big part of my role is all the social media and the marketing and the events and stuff.
Yep.
And I come from a more corporate world and an ad agency where I had clients that were paying me, and it was well known in that industry that you don't let a social media question wait for longer than, an hour or so. And so at the beginning, when we first started with Rabbit Hole, I feel like I was responding to people immediately, no matter what time of night it was, because that was what was ingrained in my head. And I've really had to work on that, because unless it's a question about, something that's happening right then or that day, a lot of the stuff can wait, and it is okay. And if somebody has, needs an answer and they're not getting it immediately, they can pick up the phone and they can call the bar, but that has been something that I've really had to transition on, like figuring out that work-life balance when it's stuff that can wait.
Yeah. A question for, I think, that are mainly going to be really for you guys. As moving from a bartender to a bar owner, and even as a new bar owner, especially when you're young, like I said, you're going to mostly you're going to be working in the bar. I just want y'all to talk about moving from literally a nocturnal lifestyle into the transition of being in an office between he's sleepy still moving from a fully nocturnal lifestyle for the most part to transitioning to an office in the morning. I know it's a little bit different for Jawan because he has daughters, so he may have to work until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and turn around and be back up at 7:30 to get his kids to school. Those type things are situations that, as we know as parents, those are just things that we have to do. Whereas Bailey wouldn't wake up till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but her life didn't really demand more of that. But what I do want to touch on and you to talk about a little bit is the anxiety and the stress that it put on you. And then how you're dealing with that transition from a nocturnal lifestyle, because, we go in at 7, 8 o'clock and we don't leave till 4 or 5 o'clock sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll start off kind of in the beginning, bartending in general, they always tell you don't get sucked in. Your girl got sucked in. I definitely did.
Black hole.
And it is a black hole. And if you are not strong enough to set boundaries and know yourself, then you are going to be fully sucked in. And I definitely was. And I caught myself in many dark spots. I got into some trouble. Like you said, I slept till 3 and 4 in the afternoon because I wasn't going to bed till 8 a.m. I didn't see my family for like 2 years because I was so intertwined with the bar lifestyle. I drank every single day. I mean, it was just, even if I didn't work, I drank because that was the atmosphere I was allowing myself in. And I will say, transitioning from a bartender to ownership, I definitely took a lot longer than Juwan. It was change for me is a little bit challenging. I'm not saying that I don't want change, because 100% I do, because this is a positive change. But the unknown, I guess, is a little bit scary. But
well, yours was really drastic too, because you started a 7 a.m. shift.
Yeah.
Now that was still, you were behind the bar, but that was you turning from going to bed at 7 o'clock to being at work at 7 o'clock a.m.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal. But I will say, stepping into the owner, you were an owner then, but stepping into the office role, you hit your stride and have not stopped.
Yes.
But yes, there were
Very grateful for that.
lot of dark spots for that. So just to clarify, I wanted them to know that you actually did a more drastic change than maybe most would understand. It
Right.
went from a nighttime manager, bar owner, bartending, to being at work every morning by 6:45 a.m. to have the bar open at 7 a.m.
Right.
because we open at 7 a.m.
Yes. Go third
And
shifters.
I think you did that for how long now?
A year.
A year. And you were only late twice, and you really weren't even late.
Yep.
So even then, you did a really good job with it. But
Thank you.
we can go back to just touching on how that affected you, that 7 a.m. shift, here in a little bit, because I definitely want to talk about
Yes.
when we say the good, the bad, the ugly of the bar.
Right.
I want to talk about that.
Cool.
So you, how's it been for you?
I
Because
mean,
you're still kind of a night owl.
yeah, I guess it's just I've never been a morning person. Even though I would go to sleep at 10 or 11, I still just, all right, why are we still talking this much at 8 a.m.? But I mean, it's at first it was a lot harder than it was. Now I'm pretty sure if I wake up at 7:30, I can get up. It's just I don't want to move. But then like you get to see the difference in people that you actually meet. That was kind of like the big thing for me. Is that you get to see some of those like other entrepreneurs. You get to see some of those other businessmen, businesswomen as well too, at nighttime. But I mean, they've already enjoyed their happy hour, so you're seeing like, all right, time for them to go home. But when you get there early in the morning, you're getting to see them. Not early in the morning, but like when you get to see them earlier in the day, you're like, oh, all right. So this is what it's like being a day walker.
Day
It's like-
walker.
and so whenever I'm ready to pass out, sometimes at 9, 10 p.m., I'm like, all right, this feels amazing. But there are times I catch myself just sitting in front of the TV watching it until 2 a.m. sometimes because I just can't fall asleep because I did it for
15 years?
A long
longer.
time.
2007, I got my first service industry job. Then I came back 2009. So yeah, dang, almost, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, God, but
So,
it's, I mean, like kind of to touch on what Bailey said, more like on your mental, it takes a big part, you know. There are nights, like I said, getting off work by 2, 3:30, go home, pass out, wake up, Chunks waking up, you know, because she's ready to eat, or Kennedy's wanting to watch TV or something like that. That's when they were little. Now they're 13 and 10.
Pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, they're two little mini adults pretty much at this point in time. But that was like I guess one of the harder things to do is to wake up and deal with that.
And be a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I started early.
How was it on you mentally and when you would wake up late, you know what I mean? When you would be, you know, close the bar, stay up all night, and then maybe you didn't have to get up that next morning. Did you sleep till midday, or did you have kind of? I know me.
My body wouldn't let me sleep.
I was
past
always
11.
up by 11.
Yeah, it wouldn't let me sleep past 11,
Yeah.
even though I would know I was like, go to sleep. There were times, don't get me wrong, there were times where I did sleep till 1 or 2, but then I was like, wake up in panic, like, oh, I just wasted the whole day.
That's what I was
Just
getting
I
at.
just wasted the whole day.
Yeah, I remember anything
man.
past 11, I would, and you just grab your phone, and I know you had to have just
every single
a
day.
list
The anxiety.
of people that called, text, and missed things that you.
And how embarrassing. I'm just waking up and it's 3 p.m. I mean,
like-
even to this day, my mom, she'll call me at like 8:30, 9 in the morning. I'm so sorry, am I waking you up? And I'm like, girl, I've been up.
I know.
They
She's
can
a
hear
morning
your voice.
person now.
KP and I were texting at 6 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh,
Hey,
I know.
blah, 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 blah,
KP
blah.
said, "So are we gonna get those TVs?" I'm like, "Not at 6:10 in the morning. We're not."
Oh, yeah.
I was in Virginia. It was an hour later. I totally forgot. And Juwan just let me know like 2 weeks ago my text messages to him are on emergency bypass.
they
And I was
go
like,
off.
oh my God, I'm so sorry. Because I was like, I've texted, because I sleep terribly. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night no matter what. So I've texted him at 10 p.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., all the different a.m.s. Because
when we're thinking.
I didn't know that. So I'm trying to be more cognizant
But
of
that is also a part of being an entrepreneur because, again, like y'all were speaking earlier on, there's no days off, there's no times off. Your phone is always on, your mind is always on, and always running. Because, like Jawan mentioned earlier, we have probably 70 employees between
All three or
maybe 70-ish.
Yeah, getting
I
up
mean,
How many are
that's
there?
a,
We're
if you
getting up
think
there.
about
We're getting
that,
up there,
that's
yeah.
a lot of
sitting at like
a lot of responsibility that goes on all of our shoulders. People don't understand that when you're an employee, you just show up to work. You don't. That's where
Yep.
That's when you find the really good employees that buy into what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build, and those are the ones that we're not having to ask clean when they're slow. But we don't always get those, so
1 out of 10.
I don't even know what it's like. It's been so long, but to be able to like walk away from a job at 5 p.m. and not think about it until the next day or for that weekend. I haven't had that in so long. Like, I will say there are times that I'm like, I wish I could have that for just like a week, that you shut your computer down, it's 5 p.m. on a Friday, and then you walk away and you literally don't do anything until Monday. Those are obviously pros and cons to
Right.
it, but like I can't even imagine what that would be like. And but also touching on, you said, we are responsible for 70 people or so. When you're in the bar industry, we're responsible for thousands of people. And that's, I think
Yeah.
that's the
That's right.
part of where stress really comes into play.
yeah.
As an owner of bars, you start looking at those situations a lot more in depth. The safety of people, not over serving, making sure that we're all, that we're reminding our staff about not over serving and
Yeah.
when to cut people off and how to cut people off and how to handle fights, because there's going to be issues. So it's like there may be 70 people that we're responsible for to make sure that, they have a livelihood and get paid and
Yeah.
all of that. But
Safety's
it's a
number
lot more
one.
people that we're responsible for.
That's a
Yeah.
very, very excellent point. We had, 500 people in the bar the other night?
Yeah.
Oh,
Minimum.
yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Throughout
That,
the whole day, yeah. That was Saturday. Was a fun one. It was great for charity. Then also the Texas team battle into that, and also that bike run as well too. So it's like, man,
Great weekend.
you gotta make sure that like, everybody in there's happy, having fun. Then you gotta make sure that they leave happy,
yeah.
still having a good time, not overserved, and it's just like
And I
that
think-
stress level alone.
Yeah. You're not just serving alcohol. You're safety's number one for all patrons and all guests that come in. I mean, everybody's welcome, but we have to do our job at the end of the day. And if that's cutting you off or if that's giving you water, and we're doing our job and we're making sure that you're safe. I mean, just on Saturday, a bartender just texted me a screenshot of an Uber. We always say, if you need to Uber somebody home, we want somebody to get home safe. So they send us that and we refund them immediately because our main goal is to make sure everybody is safe.
So I wish Uber was a little bit more popular back when we were.
Oh,
Hey,
absolutely.
man, we were
Yellow cab.
I'll be right back. I'll take this person home
Yeah,
right
I
quick.
drove,
It's
yeah,
like,
definitely.
yellow
not a
cab, and then I
Yeah.
know sometimes I was like, Bailey, I'll be right back. I'm dropping him off
Yep.
around the corner, or
good- yeah. And neither one of you probably needed to be. Oh, well, you were working, but otherwise,
Yes.
we were working, but it was like, I'm not letting that person walk or
Yeah.
drive. I'll be right back, and then vice versa. She like, hey, I know them. I'll take them home. I wouldn't let her take somebody random home because
No.
like, absolutely not. That would be insane.
I do too
Sometimes
much
she does
sometimes.
that.
I do too much.
Yeah, it's just like, man, it's like,
yeah, we've driven someone home before.
She's
Yeah.
done it a few
Dropped off
times, and
stuff.
she
Oh,
gets
yeah.
back, and I'm like,
I'm like,
Bailey
you'll
Bats.
never guess this story.
so,
I'm like, wait, back up. You took somebody home.
Yeah.
That, she just
like-
wants to make sure they're safe. Yeah, what a blessing that we
Yeah.
have Uber
Yeah.
and stuff now. And I mean, I think there's situations like we're really good about not over serving. But one thing that I learned coming into this side of things is, you don't know how much they were served somebody else when they walk in, somewhere else when they walk in. You may have just served them one beer. Or heck, you may not have served them anything,
all.
and they sit down and they're just drinking water or eating chef taco or something, and the next thing you know, they're 90, like 0 to nothing, 90, 0 to 100. Sorry.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people are partaking in drugs. They're doing pills. They or they came from another bar and they've had 8 drinks over there, and you just
they're on
don't
medications
know.
too.
Yeah.
Those people who don't let you know, like, oh yeah, man, I take meds to help myself stay awake. Like what? Like that's cocaine for one. but like, it
we don't
like,
try.
but there's also like people come in like, oh yeah, I take medications because I'm a narcoleptic. I can't talk right now, but
Yeah.
I also take meds because of certain other things. It's like, bro.
Well,
Let
it's
us
not
know
that-
before I serve you this thing. 'Cause it's like
Yeah.
you come in here and you order a beer and a rumpel, like that just don't mix.
Right.
And that's going
Man.
back. That's just for your safety.
Yeah.
I mean, it clearly states do not consume alcohol while on
It
a
tells you
lot. A
warning.
lot of
do
medication.
not
lot
do
of
this. Yeah.
medications.
Yeah, even antibiotics, like a lot.
People were passed out.
Yeah.
It's just like you dealt. Granted, like I said, we don't like over certain people, but you just never know. You give them that one drink, they take a sip, like hold on.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand that, like what you guys were saying, that when they come in, the second we give them one drink, we're solely responsible
Yep.
for
It's
them.
our
It doesn't matter if
responsibility.
they've had no drinks before, but if they've had 10 drinks before, we are now solely responsible for that person until they get home. And anything that they do between then and there, I mean, we could get sued for $1 million. You never know.
You never know.
You know, so
It's true.
it's the part of the business that a lot of people don't see and a lot of people don't understand. And I think that obviously it's not all bad. We get to make really, really great relationships. We have a really big opportunity to be charitable into the community in all kinds of different ways and all kinds of different seasons throughout the year. You know, back to school, Christmas, all the things that we do for the local families and things like that. And it does provide us with a good living, and we do get to, like Jawan said, we can travel. But also, like KP said, each one of y'all have y'all's own individual roles that are so crucial. It's really hard for y'all to completely unplug and be away. Of course, we all try to step in and fill those roles, but it is still really hard because so many people go to Bailey for one thing or you to
Right.
one thing, or like she said, she's on vacation, but the messages are still going off. The emails are still going off, you know, on that end. So I think our main goal is to continue to build a team to where we can continue to detach ourselves from those daily operations, and we're in the process of doing that. And so I think again that we're a little bit different than most bar owners. I think that we're seeing the bigger picture and we want bigger things, more bars, more restaurants, or whatever that may look like. So we know we need to build people underneath us up to where we can give them the opportunities that we've been given, so we can put systems, because I think that what we've learned most is to run a successful business, you have to have systems in place and stand by them, because if not, the kids go wild, as as you said.
Kids
So
will play
Yeah.
when the parents are away.
Yeah.
I
And cross training.
and cross training,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And
huge.
so, I guess what I'll ask you guys is how difficult, because I remember how difficult it was for me to get you two in line when you and the rest of my bartenders, I used to call them, it's like watching my sister's kids is what I refer to it as,
Yep.
even though my sister's kids aren't bad, but just the reference. But how has it been for you guys stepping out from behind the bar and then demanding that? And I know y'all are still growing in this, but what's the biggest thing that y'all have learned stepping out from behind the bar and not letting people see y'all as just a bartender? Not that y'all ever are acting above anybody, but when you merge those waters, it's really hard for them to respect you as an owner when you're bartending so close to them and become so close with them as friends and outside. And KP, we can go into even being that person that a lot of people come to, and I think we won't say a name, but we know who we can talk about, how draining that was for you, trying to give somebody something that they didn't want themselves. I think that person is on a better road now, which thank you, Jesus, for that. But yeah, how does that affect you guys, and how have y'all learned to manage that situation by stepping away and demanding the respect and the just what comes with being an owner versus being right next to them?
I mean, my whole thing is showing up and getting the job done. And that's my way of doing things. I mean, everybody does things differently, but be respectful, show up and get the job done, and then people will follow. If you lead, people will follow your work ethic. And so I believe I have a pretty hard work ethic, and I will show up and I do answer the phone calls. So that leads into giving me respect and, treating me as a higher up, in a sense, which I am. But that's my personal way. Is it the best? Absolutely not. But that's where I feel comfortable with.
How do you handle when you get the people you worked with throw the little snicks at you, kind of like we were talking, snarky comments?
Currently, something I'm still working on because I am a snapbacker occasionally.
Because that stems from that friendship y'all bonded.
Right. So I am holding myself to a higher standard. And just because somebody does something or says something to you, it doesn't always needs a response. You don't need to respond. You need to take the higher road. You need to be the bigger person, and you need to continue, because doing something childish or snapping back at somebody is not progress. You're not going to have any progress doing that. You're going to grow if you be the bigger person. You continue to do what needs to be done and get the job done in a correct manner, and go on that way. I'm, again, still learning. Your girl's not perfect. So
Yeah, it's just, I guess in the way for me is just like, I mean, I guess I got to start with like the snippy comments. It's like, look, plain and simple. What's your job to do? What's your job title? Cool. Do that. Do with respect. Be on time. Don't talk back. Plain and simple. It's super easy. I came from like a very, I wouldn't say super strict background with family, but it's like, all right, I asked you to do this. Why do I have to ask you twice? The third time, now you're in trouble. It's like, why do I have to be this person? Because now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
It was just like, you were told to do this the first time. And it's just, I guess, the transition from friendships, because I guess I did have a lot. It's just, some of them kind of just fell in line with it. That sounds very bad, but in the way of what I mean that is just they respect it. Like, all right, look, Juwan isn't that same person anymore. Like, he has more responsibilities, so they actually do it. There are some that still try me, but like Billy said, I was like, I mean, we all recently know one about a month ago. I just ignored him the whole time. It's
Yeah.
just like I want to answer, but I know if I answer, it's gonna make it worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I was somebody I call like a longtime friend, So it's just like
Yeah.
you just gotta bite your tongue on those. So I guess in a way I'm still learning as well too. But most people now, like they understand like the role that I'm in. So they don't
absolutely.
guess they don't let the friendship get in the way. They're like, all right, cool. This is my boss,
Yeah.
or this is my friend who is the boss of that specific place. So
Right.
I how important has it been for you guys to set aside for your own personal growth? Because you guys are not the same people y'all were 3 months ago, 6 months ago. If anybody says that they've met y'all and they knew you a year or two ago, they don't know Jawan, they don't know Bailey, and they
No.
don't know KP. Y'all have grown exponentially into different people, confident people. And so I think one thing that people, like you said, they saw the worth ethic y'all put in, and it basically demanded the respect. KP jumped right in, and everybody knew what she brought to the table, but it was a hard adjustment period from her, from coming from corporate, especially with us doing our, we were just everywhere. And so I think obviously we can all agree bringing KP on board has been the glue to our success, because she does give us a lot of direction and systems. Like I'll go back to that. She puts a lot of systems in place, and really helps us grow on the computer side, on that side of the deal. So yeah, I would ask how that's been for you guys, confidence wise. How important has it been for you guys to develop yourselves personally, and another kind of what we touched on. How important do y'all feel now? Remember when I used to tell y'all need to remove yourselves from the bar now and give the bar to the bartenders. Let them do that. And I know why you bartend. You enjoy it, especially for the football season. But, how important has it been for you guys and to step out and lead them versus being right next to them?
I mean, personally, it changed my life exponentially. I'm completely different from who I am. I'm more controlled in a sense. I have my routine of I go to bed early at the same time. I wake up at the same time. I walk my dog every single day. I know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done. I'm just a more routine person, and I handle situations seriously now. More serious, and I don't even know how to explain it, but I've just matured so much through it all. But with your question of how it's affect the relationships with everybody. I'm going to be honest, I don't really have a relationship with any of our employees. I am friends with everybody, but I don't go anymore. I don't go, it's just a more of an acquaintance relationship. That's personally what works for me. But I'm an introvert extrovert. I'm very, very introverted whenever I'm not working. And that's always how I've really been. I've had a very extroverted personality whenever I'm working. But if I'm not in the atmosphere, I'm introverted. So,
Fair.
I think the cares change. I think that when you're, ingrained in working and bartending with them, the things you care about are maybe the date they went on or their boyfriends, what they're
Yeah.
doing, or where they ate lunch yesterday. And now I think the cares are more, how is your health? How's your mental
Yes.
health? What's affecting you at home that comes to work? How can we help with that? And one thing that Chris has always done from the beginning, and I've seen him do it with us, I've seen him do it with, the staff, is this can be a very draining atmosphere, especially for bartenders. They are obviously not just bartenders. You're counselors, you're psychiatrists, you're everything. You're not obviously not prescribing drugs, but you're hearing stories every single day of sometimes positivity, sometimes negativity. But one of the biggest things that you've always pushed is, if you've gotten to that point where you are needing a break, where you're mentally done,
Yeah.
you encourage them to take a full week off.
Absolutely.
And
Always have.
we will find somebody to work for it, etc. It is hard to watch people drink their lives away.
Kill themselves.
Yeah, literally kill themselves. And you see things that you just are really hard to see. And so I think our cares have changed for our team, just to make sure that they're mentally stable and where they need to be, so that they can be in this type of atmosphere and get through it.
Yeah. And I want that to be what we talk about next, is kind of the bad, that dark black hole that we talk about. I do want to hear real quick from Joanna about how you've changed in that, and how what we were just talking about is how you've been able to set aside time, and you were probably one of the worst of all of us, for yourself, and learning to tell people no, because you do know that you have to continue to grow, because you want the bigger picture and you want more, and we're all on the same page. And you've done that from learning with, sitting on the computer with KP, learning all of that, to working out and being consistent, for the better part of probably 3 or 4 months now, and no signs of slowing down. So I guess, how has that been a change for you, and in a positive way, to be able to do that and kind of write your own schedule, per se?
Oh man, I mean, I guess like you said, like in a way, like just being consistent with everything has just helped a lot more with like mental and health wise. The biggest thing is just being able to, like you said, set those boundaries. Like, hey man, no, that ain't me. I can't do this anymore. So I mean, I have lost friends over it, because I mean, they did see the other side of me for a long time. But it's just, they're like the ones who respect like your change are the ones they'll be with you when you grow. Like those are the ones that you want around. Like for me, like, I mean, to name drop, I mean, Jacob Cross is one of those people. Like, he always checks on me, sees to try to say, hey, look, let's go have lunch. Let's go see, because he knows that I was a yes guy. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, we can't find anybody. Yeah, I'll do it, bro. Like, you didn't even have to ask. Like, you guys know it. And
You're right.
I mean, I've been yelled at by Bailey. I've been yelled at by you. I've been yelled at by KP. It was like, say no. But it's just like, in the end, I've always thought, like, if somebody doesn't do it, like, we lose this, we lose that. And so I'll just do it. But it's helped a lot more, I guess, being able to say no and just set that boundary with certain people.
Does it feel good now when you say no, or do you struggle with it?
Both, I guess, in a way, because like, I guess there's just a high standard, I guess, because there was, I mean, not trying to sound like rude or anything, but Bailey and I set a very high bar with the company, and it's just, when you don't see somebody put in the hustle that you put in,
They,
Yeah.
And kill what
times
and,
have,
and bring down what you built.
It's
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
times have changed.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Times have
100%.
Unfortunately.
But I mean, like they're like for the better part, I am happier that I do say no a lot more. You know, like a little bit more gaming time as well too. So that kind of helps out. So
Which that's your getaway.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
personal time.
Put the headphones on and get to it. That or I'll FaceTime Kendall or I'll, just text Kennedy. Kennedy wants to text like every 5 minutes. I'm just not a big texter.
How are your Cheetos?
Yeah. She's like, hey, like yesterday, she was like, hey, let's go to this restaurant this weekend. I was like, you said Capitol Grill. Like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, well, I saw it on this little ad. I was like, all right.
Bring your
So you're
wallet.
taking her?
She's like, no.
Are you paying?
No, Kennedy, she's a well done steak person, so I won't take her to a steak house. I told her, I was like, you can't. I won't let her waste her time on that one.
She's time. She's time.
Yeah.
I have to throw in, I think, like one way that y'all have really grown, both of y'all, is just really knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And like especially when you go from the bar, I know y'all knew your worth behind the bar. I mean, y'all are dang good bartenders, right? There is nobody that, both of y'all are so good. The fact of me knowing sometimes what y'all are dealing with, or some stressors that are on the backside that y'all are dealing with, and knowing how in depth some of those can be. And then seeing y'all when somebody walks in the bar and the smile you have and the way you greet them, how hospitable you are, and you wouldn't even know a thing was going on in the back of your mind. Y'all are both so good at that. And so I know you knew your worth behind the bar. Like, obviously you're really good at it. But when you transitioned over into, more the ownership and strategy and that side of it, I think at the beginning you're going to have some like, am I really meant for this? Like, can I do this? And the way they've grown in that and knowing their worth, and like y'all have taught me, all of y'all have taught me so much. And like y'all can see that now, and it just makes me really proud. I'm just glad that they know how important they are.
Thank you. Thank you, KP.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm tearing up.
It
I don't
is.
know why.
It is. No, y'all have all grown, and I still, even to me, I don't know about y'all, and because I will say this, y'all all took a little bit of time to really own it and really step into the ownership role. Y'all still continued the employer role underneath me. And I like to think that I did everything I possibly could to turn things over to you guys and make y'all feel accountable and make y'all, feel like this was, that Rabbit Hole was every bit as much as y'all's as it was mine. And I think that y'all have 100% stepped into that and owned it and ran with it. And that's why we have the incredible bar that we have now. But we can go back into, I think this is one of the more important parts too, to share with people because of how mentally draining and emotionally draining it is. And that's the dark part of the bar. Does anybody have to go pee or anything, just so you know? Okay. Well, I figured this would be a great part to go to section
Second
2.
episode.
Yeah,
okay.
so I was just going to ask. All right. Well, we will end this one out here and continue on with another episode of the black hole that the bar business can be,
Yes.
personally, mentally, and for other people. But to sum this one up, I hope that if anybody got anything out of this, it is that owning a bar isn't what most people think it is. It is a lot of work behind the scenes. It is mentally draining, just like any entrepreneur, whether it be a bar, a restaurant, a shipping business, a logistics business. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. I feel like that you have it or you don't. I encourage everybody that feels like they have that to definitely reach out and try to obtain those goals because there is nothing like entrepreneurship. It allows you a life that only others can dream of. And so I really hope that if anybody got anything out of this, they understand how important it is for personal growth to be confident into stepping into that role as an entrepreneur, as a leader, and as an owner, because as owners, we all represent one another. So it is so important for us to continue our personal growth, our spiritual growth, and even taking care of our bodies. You know, we have all tried to make it a point to continue to eat better, to exercise daily, because you have to be mentally, physically, and spiritually strong to be an entrepreneur. Nothing will test your faith like we talked about in the first episode other than being an entrepreneur. There's nights that's all you can do is just cry and pray, wonder where the next move is. And so I just want everybody to see that it is a very real business. It's not just fun and games, because I that's what Bar Rescue is made of, is people that don't have any idea what it is to run a business or a bar. They want to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into bars and let somebody that ran the register at Target manage their bar.
Yeah.
I obviously think that, yes, money, you can hire people, but if you don't know whether the people you hired are doing the right thing, then it's all gonna fall apart eventually anyway.
Seems
So
like the ship's
I
gonna
I
sink.
hope that everybody understands that it is not just drinking, fun and games, and
No.
doing anything you want willy nilly. And I'm glad that people see that and think that our lives are so amazing, because we do have amazing lives, but there is a lot more to it than that. So I hope
Yeah.
everybody understands
For
that.
sure.
So is there
Okay.
anything else anybody wants to wrap up with? Yeah,
I think you nailed it.
awesome.
I think you did too.